Hello everyone, it's been a little while since I've done anything Marvel related, so here are 3 of the latest LEGO Marvel Superheroes Mighty Micros sets. These are 3 separate sets when I'm showing you the boxes right from the start, so this is one, this is one, this is one. I just figured I would cover all of them in one video because they're small. So from Guardians of the Galaxy, here is Star-Lord versus Nebula. Star-Lord gets an excellent looking miniaturized version of the Milano with 4 wheels on it. I think that you could easily build that without the wheels on it, and it would look like a cool little kind of realistic model, like just a mini scale thing. I mean, look at that. Even kind of the feathery tips of the wings are there with the different angles. This is actually really nicely done. Like I said, just leave that entire lower chassis off, and I think most of it will actually hold itself together without that. So you don't even need to add anything except maybe something just in place of the seat there, if you don't want to have a gigantic scaled Star-Lord sticking out of it. We'll take a closer look at the figures up close in just a minute. But then Nebula over here kind of sets the story for this set, because she has stolen Star-Lord's mixtape. And that's a printed piece there, and that's excellent to get. I am definitely going to get another of these sets promptly because I want another of that tape. And it doesn't even have the writing on it, so it's really generic. You can use it to represent any kind of classic cassette tape. So she's in a Necrocraft here that she has commandeered, and she's taken off with that tape, and Star-Lord needs to get it back. Cool. I mean, this is far less interesting as a vehicle to me than the Milano, but hey, you can pop a wheelie and hold it. You can bring the wings up and down. You know, it doesn't really do anything, but I think the main thing here is that you do get the Nebula figure, something for Star-Lord to go up against. You get a vehicle for him to go up against, and you know, these are fun just to run around. Can he hold a wheelie? No, he can't. No, he can't. Winner! Also, Nebula's car gets a printed console piece, and Star-Lord doesn't have that either. He just has a lame steering wheel. Alright, so looking at the figures up close, these are following the standard kind of formula for Mighty Micros. All of these will and do, with really simplified prints and kind of childish features. You know, just everything is just taken down a notch in seriousness, or maybe a couple of notches. But they do have the proper accessories, so you get the blaster for Star-Lord, and that really nice printed tile cassette piece for Nebula. You get the proper metallic silver colored arm for Nebula as well, and hand. And you get the right hairpiece for Star-Lord as well. Prints on the backs of the torsos are just At least you do get an alternate face for Star-Lord as well when he doesn't have the full mask on. This is Scarlet Spider, not Spider-Man, notice the torso, versus Sandman. And I think Sandman gets one of the more interesting vehicles of this entire Mighty Micros line, because this, to me, looks like it could be just a proper minifig scaled large dump truck for kids. You know, just a oversized huge toy that they could actually ride along in. So this actually seems like something that could potentially be feasible in just a normal minifig scaled scene if you want it to be. And he's got the huge steering wheel there on top, which just looks like it makes sense to me. And it has the box on the back with even printed caution little 1x4 tile there. And then you can leave the sand pile out if you want to, you know, just actually use the thing. Now it's not able to actually dump, but I think it's just a cool little build. It reminds me of a huge Tonka toy. And they have that stud on the side there with the one brick near the top, so you could attach, if you want to, the hammer hand of Sandman. And then Scarlet Spider over here just gets a spider-inspired vehicle. I don't know if this is based upon anything that's been done in the toy world before, or anything that would be canonical. I haven't looked it up, but I'm not aware of anything. But you know, you've got the 2 eyes on the front, and a couple of little fangs sticking down. And this one also has a printed console piece in there, same one that Nebula did. So yeah, that's cool. I like the thrusters on the back of this. You know, you can angle those up and down to get a little different look out of it. And let me see if I can bring these up enough. You can hold the all-important wheelie. Okay, I'm satisfied with this one as well. So I think both of these vehicles are good. This one almost wants to wheelie at all times. I just think that's a fun thing. When I was a kid, I loved being able to do wheelies. I mean, most of the time I'd have to hold vehicles down to make it happen. But if they could hold it themselves, then that just made them feel more alive to me. Again, with the figures with the simplified styling. But, you know, I actually think that Sandman torso is serious enough. Put long legs on that torso, and I think that would fit right into any kind of actual superheroes scene. And they gave him a nice sand hammer arm there as well. Same thing goes for Scarlet Spider. I think that head is fine. It's not as detailed as you normally expect, but you know, the expression of the eyes is good, and I think the torso print is good as well. Again, just put longer legs on it, and I think it's a fine substitute. Now, Sandman's face is clearly just a Mighty Micro specific thing, but you know, if you can get past that, I think that these can be taken seriously enough with longer legs. And Scarlet Spider there gets the shovel to deal with some excess sand. And again, the prints on the backs of the torsos are fairly simple, but again, I think the one for Sandman is not so bad. And it's good to be able to get this hairpiece as well in the regular brown color. And finally, here is Thor versus Loki. I believe these vehicles are just completely made up. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on that, or look to see if someone else already has in the comments. But I mean, Thor looks like he has an older truck that's been souped up, hot rodded, modified, and then Loki has something that's just based upon his helm. So why not? It's kind of his chariot there. Yeah, I think that each of the vehicles are cool. Notice that you get two different colors of gold for the Loki vehicle here, with the cheese slope pieces being the printed, kind of slightly more believable, more realistic metallic color that's actually painted on the outside and then it's tan on the inside. And he gets these couple of electrical bolts coming off the back. He's standing right at the rearmost portion of that vehicle, and then Loki's just gets a couple of thrusters coming off the back, and you can adjust the kind of horns on the front if you want to move those forward, like not like that, but more like this to make them more set up for ramming, I guess. Get that on there. How come that's not staying on there? Popped on there before. There we go. Just got to get in the right spot. Yeah, you know, you can kind of use it a little bit more like a mountain goat, kind of ram the front, or you can bring this back, kind of close this around if you want to turn it into something a little bit different, make it a little bit more like a roll cage. Imagine these are actually like laser blasters or something. Again, you know, use your imagination, but it's nice to have just a little bit of movability with this. What about? Nope, nah, not even a little bit. Weak. How about over here? How about this one? So close. Just needs so close, but no cigars. Not able to hold that wheelie. Too bad. I do like these wing pieces though. Being able to get a couple more of those in just a plain light gray color. These torsos don't look that great up close, but from a more realistic distance, I actually kind of like both of them because of the metallic printing in there. Maybe it's just the kid in me thinking back to playing with toys. Anytime I got something that seemed metallic, as long as there wasn't too much of it, you know, overdone fake chrome or something, it seemed fancy to get something that looked metallic. So I like the silver and the gold especially. That's just, you know, kind of personal nostalgia and preference, I believe. But you do get the full helm for Loki, not a miniaturized version of that, but Thor gets the miniaturized cape. It's just a short cape. It's such a short little thing compared to the normal ones. It's funny. It's really funny to me. It shouldn't be as funny as it is, but it really is. It's just it's almost like a neckerchief relative to the normal ones. Haven't looked at this on a regular figure, but it is the newer type of material. You get print on the backs of these torsos with more of the gold as well, and Loki's head is actually gold itself, and that's interesting that it's slightly different from, this is kind of the rubbery material that's used here for this helm, and it's a little bit more orangish. And then the head itself is less orangish even than the hands or the lightsaber hilt piece that's used for his accessory. So it's slightly closer to a realistic gold, I believe. No alternate face for Thor here. And the face print for Loki is not quite thick enough. You can see some of the gold coming through, or some of the darkness. It just doesn't look like proper skin tone. But these are the Mighty Micros, and they are not to be taken too seriously. Yet, they do come with some pretty cool stuff for folks of all ages. Certainly, particularly, mostly designed for younger kids, though, to be able to get a couple of superheroes and or supervillains for a very, very low price, and they come with some vehicles you can play around with. It's kind of a shame that they don't come with the longer legs, just as an option so that you can upgrade them, but that's just the choice that Lego made, probably to keep from having these compete too much with the more expensive sets. Regardless, some cool stuff here, some kind of meh, but all that is subject to personal opinion. So I hope I've shown you enough here to help you form your own opinions, and I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for watching.